used to come over to your house every day. Still remember the smell of your car when you drove me down to that lake. Felt so good staying up all night, that will forever be our place. And I know it's been a long time since we were together. There's a special place in my heart that's yours forever. If I could fly right back to where I belong, fly right back to my home sweet home. If I could, I'd take it all back and fly high up above the open sea into another destiny. I close my eyes and I'm back in your arms, I'd fly. Sometimes it feels like you just wanna run. It's easier than facing your own doubts, but it will get you no matter how far you go. It haunts you every night. I tried so hard to forget what we had, but then something reminds me of you. Do you remember the necklace you gave me? I wear it every day. And I know it's been a long time since we were together, but there's a special place in my heart that's yours forever. If I could fly right back to where I belong, fly right back to my home sweet home. If I could, I'd take it all back and fly high up above the open sea into another destiny. I close my eyes and I'm back in your arms, I'd fly.
Hi, YouTube. I don't know. How'd you do that? I don't know. How'd you do that?
Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube. So today I'm here with my motorcycle and I'm trying to change my oil by myself for the first time. I've had my motorcycle for a little while now, but recently, since my daughter was born, I haven't had the opportunity to ride it very much because I've always got a toddler with me. But I am excited to have chances to ride it this summer since she is going to daycare 2 days a week. Woo! And as a motorcycle owner, I think it's really important that we are able to take care of ourselves, especially for, you know, women. I think a lot of times women are intimidated by things in the garage, and while I am by no means an expert, I've done it once before with help, and I'm going to be doing it today. I'm just following a YouTube video that I found online. I believe it's made, I don't know if it's even the same one I used last time, but ironically there weren't any made by women. So I just figured I'd kind of document this process and show you the basics of what I do. So first off, I had to turn it on and let it run for about 10 minutes because you want the engine, the moving parts, I guess, in it to be somewhat warm. Right now it is going to be very hot to the touch, so I might still let it cool for a minute or two while I double check. But everything that I have, I brought my husband's gloves for while it is hot. I have some cardboard to make sure I don't make a huge mess inside my garage. I've got my toolkit, and I've got my oil filter. However, a Royal Enfield is quite strange. It doesn't have the typical type of oil filter you will see. We actually had to drive all the way out to Gettysburg to get these, so we bought a bunch of them. But it is a little metal filter. And I'll pull the plastic out so you can see it all the way. There you go. And I just remembered I'm going to need to go get some sort of cup to soak it in the oil before I put it in. I just remembered that that's a thing that I did last time. And it also comes with 2 of these little rubber rings. I think you're supposed to have some crushable copper rings. I'm not sure about the exact name for them, but don't be intimidated by not knowing the right name. So long as you know what you're talking about, you should be able to find the right product. But like I said, toolbox, and I've got a very shallow oil pan because it needs to fit under the motorcycle. And last time we did it at my father-in-law's house, and we kind of struggled with that. So I made sure I bought a very shallow one for home. And I've got two, I don't know, quarts. Yeah, 2 quarts of oil. I don't expect it to take absolutely every drop of this, but it will take most of it. Small engine, but it still uses a lot of oil. And the Royal Enfield takes 15W-50. We had to buy a full synthetic oil. It doesn't need to be full synthetic, but that was just all we could find. Apparently 15W-50 isn't very common. I don't know why. So anyway, like I said, it's cooling off a little bit. I'm going to double check my YouTube video, and then I'm going to get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to soak this in oil. And what I have here is a sippy cup from my daughter that we don't use anymore because we lost the straw. Don't you hate that? But now I have a purpose for it, and it is like just the right size. So I put my little oil filter in there. I'm going to open up the new oil because I want to make sure I soak it in the new clean oil. And I'm just going to let it soak until I need it, but probably at least like 10 or 15 minutes. I really love my Royal Enfield. I have wanted a motorcycle since high school, and I waited until I was a Pennsylvania resident so that I could take the Pennsylvania State motorcycle riding course because it's free if you live in state. So I did that, and then it was still like 2 or 3 years before I finally found a bike that I really wanted and was able to be in a financial position that I could purchase it. I just paid it off a little while back. I believe I mentioned that in a previous video. So this is good. It's just submerged and it's soaking, and I'm just gonna let it soak. I could see some of the bubbles coming out of it. I might put just like a tad bit more in there. And then you can also, if you wanted to later, still use this oil and put it into the engine if you needed it, but I don't think I'm going to need it. I think I'm gonna have enough without it. But, okay, so the first thing that he did, and therefore the first thing that I'm gonna do, is that big bolt in the back that I said I thought I needed to open, but I wasn't 100% sure about. And it makes sense because it even already feels quite oily, whereas the rest of the bottom of my engine doesn't. So it was probably a little bit of residual oil from last time I changed it. So first off, I need to figure out what size that is. So got all of these guys, and I am just going to hold them up until I see which size works. 19 millimeters, let's try that one. And that one seems to fit. So I'm just gonna find the right doohickey, official term, to attach this to. Where is it?
Welcome.
Alright, so this is my socket, also known as my wrenchy thing, and this is my handle, also known as a driver. I thought I was the driver. Anyway, and I'm just going to use it to undo that very large bolt right here. And when in doubt, just remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. And if you struggle with that, because you're like me and lefts and rights don't work so good, just try to figure out which way it moves. Ooh, I got it to move. And we're going to make sure that this is directly underneath. Once I get this off, oil is probably going to start pouring out right away. And my engine does feel a little bit warm, but it's not very hot, so I'm okay with doing this without gloves. Which maybe means I probably should have heated it up a little more, but okay, I got it loosened enough that I can just loosen it the rest of the way by hand. Oh, and there goes the oil. And this is the part that just came out. Let me grab my paper towel, wipe it down a little bit, because I'm really trying to not make a huge mess this time. Alright, all that yucky, dirty oil is coming out already. So this is the bolt that I just pulled out. Okay? I'm going to leave that right there on my cardboard. And I'm just gonna let that keep flowing for a little bit. Whole bunch came out. Now it's down to more of a trickle. Like it's still steadily pouring, but it's very skinny stream. And I'm just gonna let that go. It seemed much more intimidating than that, didn't it? This one. 12. And yep, 12 fits that front one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Did it. Oh, and I can do the rest with my fingers. I'm gonna get all dirty again. Maybe I should get my paper towel ready first this time. Okay. And this one has a copper ring in it. There goes the oil. And I think the other one probably did too, and that probably fell into the oil pan, which means I'm gonna have to go searching for it later. But yeah, that's another big, thick, steady stream. So yeah, changing your oil so far. You let your bike run for 10 minutes. You turn it off. You put your oil filter into your child's no longer useful sippy cup because you lost the straw. And you unscrew 2 bolts. Oh, and you like put stuff to clean up the mess. Don't forget that part. I may have forgot that part last time. So yeah, here's my little bolt, my little copper ring. My puppy, hi puppy. Hi puppy. Oh, I can't pet you, I'm all dirty.
Nice.
I'm all dirty. Hi puppy.
Come on, go inside.
Okay, that still has a very thick, steady stream. And the first one is just like barely dripping, trickling, whichever you want to call it. So we're making progress, and I still need to find a little 9mm. 8.
And here's a 7.
8'll work.
Okay.
Probably need the little one. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta get more of those organizers for my sockets.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, maybe.
Push the button on the back.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that button. Okay, boys are a little bit helpful. Just a little though. Alright, I need to switch this so that I can loosen it. Okay, that one's loosened. I'm gonna loosen this one too. And then I'm gonna screw them out one at a time. Oh, I'm getting so oily. It's kind of fun though. It's like a facial for your hands. There we go. I think something else fell out too. I'm definitely gonna have to go digging in the oil. Okay. Okay. So, this guy is magnetic, which is quite convenient. I've got these 2 little bolts, which were, I think I went with the 8" or 8mm. We'll put them down. And then this little cap. I believe something fell out from this little cap, so I am going to have to go digging in the oil later, but I was going to have to do that anyway, because I was going to have to double check from that first one as well, because I think I lost like a metal little copper ring there somewhere, would be my thoughts. Cleaning my hands a little bit while it's draining. And one other thing that I did see in a video, I don't know if the guy in this video that I'm watching right now is going to do it, but my bike has a kickstart. So even though I can't physically kickstart it, I'm just not strong enough. You can use that kickstart to kind of help your engine turn over. And then that will help you to get more of the dirty oil out. So since you can, you might as well should. And that'll just help it to turn over, like I said, and get a little bit more of that oil moving and flowing it out. But most of it is out at this point. So we're making good progress. Whew. Alright, the next thing to do is to remove the actual oil filter, and that's on the other side of the bike, so I will meet you over there. Okay, now I'm on the other side of my bike, and unfortunately I have less room to work over here because there's some fence pieces. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these 3 bolts so I can take out the oil filter. There is 1 ring in the front of the oil filter and 1 ring in the back that my oil filter came with replacements for, so I'm going to be replacing them. And these bolts are the same as that 8mm that I just did on the bottom. So for once, I don't have to go find a new socket. Thank goodness. So I'm just gonna loosen them. I'm gonna get them personally just all a little bit loose, and then probably take them all off at the same time. That one's loose. This one too. I'm gonna loosen that one just a little bit more, and I should be able to do them all three by hand. Oh, and I'm starting to lose some oil. Luckily, it's kind of falling right in there into my oil pan. Oh, there's cobwebs on my motorcycle. I also need to give it a bath. Okay. Alright, so let's take these off the rest of the way. And this is a little bit hotter than the bottom side was. I guess it's true what they say about heat rising. But that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, so there is a little bit of oil trickling out. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. Try to get as much as I can in my oil pan. Yeah, you can feel that this is pressurized because as I get the screws looser, it's definitely pushing itself farther away. So, one. Sorry, I don't know how well you can see me and Sasha with the bike. Let's adjust this a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see pretty well. Yeah, once again, total disclaimer, I am not an expert at anything mechanical. Never said I was. And the point that I really want to get across is that you don't need to be. I think people, especially women, get really intimidated by doing their own mechanical work, because things like cars and motorcycles and stuff like that, they seem like these big expensive purchases. And when you go to a shop to have someone do something for you, they charge you an arm and a leg because they do deserve the money. I'm not saying that. It takes a lot of time and energy and skill to learn how to do every fix for every different motor and engine that's out there. But if you are just doing simple fixes on your own mechanical items, it will save you a lot of money, which we all know we love to be frugal, but also it gives you a great sense of accomplishment, in my personal opinion. And it's not rocket science. It's not that hard. It's just a little bit intimidating, but take it one step at a time and you can do it. You don't need to be an expert to learn to do these things. Okay? So yeah, you can see that here's the last bolt, putting them right here. It's pouring out nicely. Here is the spring that I said I could tell that it felt. I could feel that it had some sort of spring. Put that down there. I'm gonna put this down here. Then I don't have a fancy tool for this, so I'm just gonna stick my fingers in there. Pull out my old filter. And I'm just gonna let that sit in there. And then the other ring is back there. I don't think my fingers can quite reach it. That's probably why he had a fancy tool. Oh, I got it. And that's the second ring. Okay. All right, that's that. I'm gonna wipe this clean a little bit because I can. There's still a little bit of oil in there. I'm gonna wipe my hands off a little bit, and then I'm going to try and turn over my engine a little bit. Make sure I can get all the oil possible out. Whew. So this is for the kickstart. So you can kind of hear that it moved. And I'm not actively trying to kickstart it right now. I'm just trying to turn over my motor and get more of that oil moving and dripping out. So, and clean as I go. All right, so that was 2. I'm gonna probably do about 5. Come on. Like I said, not heavy enough, not strong enough. Right? 3, 4, 5. can hear a lot more is pouring out again, so that's good. Give it another couple seconds. I'll probably do one more. See my greasy handprint on my seat now. Alright, I'm also going to hop on and try to give it a little back and forth wobble, which there honestly isn't too much I can do when it's on the back kickstand. Alright, I'll try to turn it over one more time, and then I think I'll just let it settle, and I'll start digging in my oil pan for my missing pieces. Okay, see you back on the other side. Okay, so my oil is finishing its last couple of drip drops, and while it does that, I'm just going to be kind of checking and wiping down and cleaning and making sure that I have everything I need. So, drip some from here. That's about as far as I can go with that. Cleaning this off, seeing how it looks. I am by no means an expert, but I would say that looks pretty clean. I don't really see any like metal shards or anything. I'm gonna go into this big one from the back, wipe that down as best I can. Okay, now time to go digging for my missing pieces. Here's one. Clean that off a little bit. Here's that metal ring that I thought I was missing. What? Should have maybe had another little ring in here, but maybe I don't. I guess not. We will double check that before I put it back together. Definitely gonna need a new paper towel for this one. Ugh. Just think of it as like a hot oil treatment for your skin. I heard that's like a nice thing to do. Would be. One thing that I do suggest that I personally probably wouldn't have bought, but my husband just happens to have them for the garage, is get like really nice garage paper towels. Like you see these blue ones, they absorb so well. And like, if you don't have them, you can absolutely get by with regular paper towels or rags, or maybe something greener like a reusable dishcloth or something that you don't use in the kitchen anymore. But yeah, these are really nice. Okay. So I've got this little metal ring that came from the big bolt, the first one we did. And I've got this little metal meshy cage that I kind of told you about before. I'm going to just try and wipe down because I'm just putting that back in. I don't have another one. And I don't think I need another one, so yeah, I'll show it to you. Okay. It's just like a really fancy ring. It even fits my finger. See? So stylish. Okay, so you just want to clean that off as best you can. If you have like something, there's a product that they make to kind of spray off and clean off these parts, you can use that, but I'm just wiping them down for today, and that is going to be good enough for me. Okay. Alright. And I believe the only thing that's left to do is put it back together, refill it with oil, give her a bath, and then go for a ride. I'm going to double check my video, and then I will show you how I put it back together. Once I figure out where I put my cell phone. Maybe, sort of, kind of, a little bit. Uh-oh.
If I could fly, I'd fly right back to where I belong, fly right back to my home sweet home. If I could, I'd take it all back and fly
One tip that I do want to give you is that, particularly with Royal Enfield, you want to make sure that you are being gentle when you tighten the bolts. You don't want to strip anything out. So particularly if you're a girl like me and you're not particularly strong, that's great. But yeah, just make sure that you are being gentle with it. So just get it till it's tight enough, doesn't move anymore, and don't try to force it.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. I don't know what I could say to convince you to hang around when you don't have to.
And that's it. First time changing it by myself. Second time I've done it before, or like second time I've done it ever, and it was really easy. I'm gonna turn her on, let her run for a couple of seconds, double check that oil level, but I suspect it will be perfectly fine because I used basically all of the oil. And then I'm gonna give her a bath, and then I'm gonna give myself a bath, and then maybe I'll go for a ride. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day, and don't be afraid to go get a little bit dirty. Okay, bye!
There's so much that I'm still keeping to myself, 'cause you don't listen, babe. But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all